This is a tricky question because there are a lot of issues with investing in Turkey. Although it's very easy to do it currently, especially after the new regulations and the new commercial code and the code of obligations. Of course, you should know how the market acts, and for example, currently you can have a nice lease agreement, but you will have problems because that lease agreement will need to be adjusted after 8 years. You're supposed to be adjusting it in the beginning of July, but the parliament has postponed that adjustments for another 8 years. So knowing what needs to be adjusted itself actually proposes a little issue for the investors, because currently the bank market is ready to give loans in foreign exchange dominated currencies, but if you, because one of the laws was actually saying that you can only ask Turkish lira if you want to have an indexation clause. If you are going to ask a euro or a foreign currency, then you were not entitled to increase that rent within the next 5 years. And even if you do within the next 5 years, you're supposed to convert it into Turkish lira again. It was a small mess. It is actually the case for the residential rents, by the way, but this for commercial rents was postponed until 2020. So knowing this would play an important role before investing. But other than that, there are no big tricks in the legal environment for the investors to come. It is just straightforward when you read it, when you just seek counseling, not necessarily legal, but hopefully also legal. It just leads you the way. It is very straightforward from my perspective. But knowing the culture is something else, and you will have your counselors for that, including legal.
I mean, we have had a couple of moments that basically, legislation was proposed, and that basically everybody in the market concluded this is not good for the direction in which the market is heading. Whether it was about a commercial permit system for anchor stores, whether it was about opening hours, whether it was about capping the size of projects, or like now the lease contracts. You see that kind of proposals popping up. You see that basically market consultations and discussions with the government and organizations like ULI, JODER, but also the Turkish councils of shopping centers are playing an important role in that. You see then, there is a discussion. In the end, the aim is to develop a market and get, let's say, local and international capital involved. You see that kind of legislations being shelved and in the end disappearing. I mean, 2020 is very far away. There will be another government, there will be another time. We have to see what happens. But in general, we see that despite that kind of fluctuations in the discussions, that basically the direction is pretty stable, is pretty focused. And as you said, very straightforward.